Good evening and welcome to McDonald County Gymnasium with the Athletic Hall of Fame 2025 inductees ceremony. This is Eric again bringing you coverage for tonight's festivities. It looks like we're getting ready to start, so I will pretty much be pretty quiet for most of the night, and I'll let everybody here just watch and take in the inductee ceremony for the class of 2025 for the Mustang Hall of Fame.
Rick said a little bit hard to hear, so I'm going to take that off and just have people hold it. I don't want anybody to miss anything. I will. Athletics Hall of Fame induction ceremony. Tonight's a celebration of the people who have built the foundation of Mustang athletics. Our Hall of Fame exists to honor those whose dedication, character, and achievements have shaped who we are today. These inductees didn't just represent McDonald County, they helped define it. Their impact continues to inspire the next generation of Mustangs to chase excellence on and off the field. For our current athletes and students, my hope is that tonight serves as a reminder that what you do here matters. The effort, the teamwork, the pride, you're writing the next chapter of the same story these honorees helped begin. As the athletic director, I'm truly blessed and honored to serve McDonald County and to help carry forward the legacy built by so many people, incredible coaches, athletes, and community members. It's a privilege to be a part of something that represents not just wins and losses, but the spirit and the heart of this entire community. At this time, it is my honor to introduce the chairman of our Hall of Fame committee, Mr. Kim Harrell. Kim and his committee have done an excellent job selecting this year's class and putting together tonight's event. So please help me welcome Mr. Kim Harrell to the podium.
Thank you, brother. Can everyone hear all right? Okay. A lot of work and a lot of effort goes into this. I want to thank everyone that's on the committee. They give up their time and their effort. But we need to thank the man that this was his idea, and he works tirelessly each year to get this set up. And he's also in the middle of a lot of sports seasons. But we all need to give a round of applause to Mr. Bo Berger. And as Bo said, we're going to honor over 40 years of Mustang athletics, Mustang excellence. Starting back in the mid-'70s when Jack Shaver took a bunch of kids and put them together, and he ended up having a pretty good point guard. And that point guard, if you're not old enough to have ever seen him, Kevin Black has got some tapes and stuff like that, and you really need to watch him, okay? Because Jimmy and his team were something to watch back then. And I know I was in junior high, and most of these guys out here on the 81 team was in junior high. I think Lee for 4 years, but anyway. They grew up watching Jimmy and those guys, and that's what they wanted to be like. And they took the next step and brought the boys team to the apex by going to the state tournament. Bring home a state tournament plaque. And I was lucky enough to be young enough to go to those ball games and travel and cheer them on, just like I was able to cheer on Jimmy and all of his teammates. And then you take that a step further down the road comes a pretty shy, quiet kid up nines in, so everything Mike Jones shot, it would have been 3 pointers that were 2. He gets an extra point for it. And he does an outstanding job, and Nick Martin sets picks for him and everything, and rebounds for him, and Nick Smarter throw back out so he can shoot again if he did happen to miss. And then you go on with a young lady whose hobby was collecting state track medals. I don't know if you can say it any other way. That's what she did. And then you have another young lady that started an entirely new program. And something in McDonald County that didn't involve the ball, and that was kind of, different. And she takes this and she works tirelessly, and she does an outstanding job, as you'll see in the videos, and as you can see in these plaque places up there. Back in '81, guys, if someone said you were running across country, that just means Luke Ealing showed up. Okay? One guy got that, I'm glad. But you did. And lastly, we're going to honor a man who was a true Mustang. We rooted on the Mustangs probably from birth to the day he passed away from us. And kid, if you'll start that video, we'll get started with our night.
We're celebrating excellence in local sports with the 2025 McDonald County Athletic Hall of Fame. But excellence isn't just about stats. It's about loyalty and support. And this year, we honor a contributor who's embodied that spirit, Ronnie Cooper. Ronnie Cooper was more than a fan. He was a fixture of Mustang athletics. Ronnie supported generations of student athletes. He was there for every season. He was there for every sport. His loyalty never wavered, whether in the stands, at practice, or on the sidelines. He was always present. His legacy is not measured in wins or stats. It's measured in the lives he touched. It's measured in the pride he carried for the red and black. And he carried that Mustang spirit for a lifetime. Ronnie Cooper, a true Mustang, whose legacy will forever be remembered in the 2025 McDonald County Athletic Hall of Fame.
I'd like to have Nick Martin come up, say a few words, to induct Ronnie into our Hall of Fame. Nick literally, I don't know if Ronnie ever missed a ball game when he was in the legs. He did. There wasn't many of them. Roger, why don't you come on up too, please?
Thank you. All right, we'll try to get through this. I'll apologize right now. I don't know if I can. Tonight I had the privilege of honoring someone who wasn't just a part of McDonald County Athletics, he was a part of our family. Ronnie Cooper wasn't just a fan, he was a fixture. If there was a Mustang game happening, you could bet Ronnie was there. Football, basketball, baseball, didn't matter. He was going. I'll tell you what, if we had $1 for every mile Ronnie rode with us to games, we could probably build the Ronnie Cooper Mustang Athletic Indoor Facility at no charge to the school. Ronnie and I even shared birthdays. His was just one a day before mine. Every year we'd joke about who was getting older faster, and I said, Ronnie, you got me beat on that one because yours is the day before mine. Ronnie had cerebral palsy, but that never slowed him down, not once. He didn't let it stop him from showing up, cheering loud, or supporting the kids he loved watching. He had more heart, determination, and Mustang spirit that most people could ever hope to have. A couple stories that come to mind about Ronnie. One time we went to the game in Nevada, and later on we got home like the following week, and we'd found out there'd been a meningitis outbreak or something, and everybody who went to the game or ate at Nevada had to get a meningitis shot. So everybody came to the high school, lined up, and Nurse Dixie got her jabs in. Ronnie wasn't too excited about that. I think he might have missed a few trips to Nevada after that, and then when he did start going back, he asked if we had to get a shot. But when it came to loyalty, nobody topped Ronnie. I remember one day Dad picked him up for a home game. Well before the game, Dad had to go doctor a calf. Dad roped the calf, and somehow the rope ended up in Ronnie's hands. The calf took off, and Dad said he looked back, and it looked like a cartoon character with the smoke going through Ronnie's hands because the rope was going through it so fast. Ronnie was blowing on his hands, and Dad said, "Ronnie, you okay?" He said, "Yeah, Bill, I'm okay, but we're going to have to go to my mom and have her doctor." So Dad took Ronnie to his house. They got him doctored up, but he didn't miss the game. He still showed up, bandaged hands and all. That's just who he was. Ronnie's legacy isn't written in wins or stats. It's written in the lives he touched, the laughter he brought, and the pride he carried for the red and black. Even though he's been gone for 2 years now, he's still here. In the stands, in the stories, and in the hearts of everyone he knew. It's my absolute honor tonight to welcome my friend, my family, Ronnie Cooper, into the McDonald County Hall of Fame, where his Mustang spirit will live forever. Loyal heart and lasting legacy.
I'm a man of few words. Thanks everybody for the committee, my family for showing up, and Coach Shaver. God bless. Go Mustangs. Thanks, Nick.
You bet.
Saved my-
You're right.
Okay, Ken.
We're celebrating a history of excellence in local sports with the 2025 McDonald County Athletics Hall of Fame. As an inductee in the coaches category, we're honoring a coach whose passion built a program, Coach Darby Stanson. Coach Stanson is a key figure in McDonald County athletics, especially for distance runners. She was instrumental in starting the cross-country program at McDonald County, building it from the ground up. For years, she was a dedicated coach for both cross-country and track and field teams. Her impact as a coach was phenomenal. She guided the 2010 boys cross-country team to an impressive fourth-place finish at the state meet, and her peers recognized her excellence, naming her Southwest Missouri Class 3 Boys Coach of the Year 3 times and Girls Coach of the Year once. Coach Stanson's influence even stretched across the state. She served on the Missouri State Advisory Committee for high school cross-country, helping to shape and guide the sport for high schools across Missouri. Congratulations to Coach Darby Stanson for being a part of the 2025 McDonald County Athletics Hall of Fame.
Darby was much more than just a coach. She was our math department chair. Darby's typical day would be, she'd get there in the morning, probably about 6, start making pancakes for kids that were going to show up so she could tutor them for their ACTs, get that done, teach a full day of math, go to a cross-country meet, get home real late, and then be right back up and do it again. I don't know of very many people that gave as much of themselves to this school, this community, and to your children than she did. She's unselfish, very proud to call her my friend. Her accolades speak for themselves. And ladies and gentlemen, newest member of the coaching part of McDonald County Hall of Fame, Ms. Darby Stanson.
Okay, I just left my notes over at the table, but that's like me. I want to thank you guys so much, and there's so many people in here that mean so much to me. I started out here as a 28-year-old when my husband used to say, try to keep up with my wife at practice. That was the boys too. at first, and I'd go out and run with them, and it was great. And then I had Darian, and I'm going to be a grandma again in 2 days. I had to brag that. I had to say that. Sorry, Bruce. And so then I got to start coaching track. And that was my first coaching gig, was track and field. And don't look at me like that, April, I'll cry, okay? And I had the honor to coach some of the most amazing kids. You guys are later, because you guys are not as early as the beginning. I don't even know what I can say about that. If you came from Knoll, from Coach Kilby and Coach Harrell, you were a pretty dang good athlete, right? For a while, any of those records that are still up there from the 90s and early aughts are almost all Knoll kids. They were quite an amazing group of kids. I've got April Stauber and Jackie and Julie McDuffie over here, and they were amazing. And seeing them today, it makes all of this worthwhile. My next coaching gig was junior high volleyball. And I said, why am I even here? And I said, I don't even like volleyball. I've never even touched a volleyball. In case you didn't know that, I coached volleyball for 11 years, and I never even touched a volleyball. But I could show them all kinds of things. They didn't know that I didn't do it. But when Coach Wilkie decided to add cross country, that was naturally what I stepped into, was as a cross country coach, and I loved it. And when we added 1 or 2 years later, middle school, I thought of Tim Kilby. Headmaster Kilby is what these guys call him. This table over here this is Connor, James, and Wade, and Crockett, who didn't go to school here, but he coached with us for years, and they mean the world to me. But Coach Kilby was the original. He was, and the fact, he even wore his shirt back here in the back. He wore his McDonald MCXC cross-country shirt that we had upstate. So, and he stood on that stage with me, which meant a lot. So, and then when Bruce retired, I got to coach track, and it was quite an amazing gig too, but like I said, I couldn't run with them anymore like I used to. Time goes on, but seeing all of you guys and just how much you guys mean to me means a lot. This room has so much love in it right now, and it's neat to be back here again. And I'd like to thank my church people for coming, because I have my homies are back here. Woo! They came from Neosho and East Newton, Cynic area, and then I go to church with them. So anyway, the kids are here except for Darian, because she's getting ready to pop. And otherwise, thank you very much, and thank you, Kim Harrell.
Local sports with the 2025 McDonald County Athletic Hall of Fame. Let's talk about a team that defined excellence for McDonald County. That's the 1981 men's basketball team. They started the season slow, but these Mustangs caught fire. They powered through districts and sectionals, earning a spot in the 3A Final Four. They fell to powerhouse St. Francis Borgia in the semifinal, but this team was resilient. They bounced back immediately, defeating Sullivan, and that huge win earned them third place in the state. The 1981 squad set a new standard for McDonald County High School success, and their competitive spirit is still inspiring us today. Congratulations to the 1981 men's basketball team for being a part of the 2025 McDonald County Athletic Hall of Fame.
Fellow classmate Scott Perry will come up here. Introduction. The 81 team.
Thank you, Kim. I am Scott Purrier, proud Knoll Tiger and 1981 graduate of McDonald County High School, Mack County, God's country as I call it on the radio up in the Springfield area when I do shows up there. But you're wondering, why am I up here? Well, it didn't take me long to figure out that I wasn't going to play. It was about 6 wind sprints with Coach Shaver my freshman year. I decided that was it, and so I spent the rest of the time cleaning up his spit cups and announcing the games on the stage here. So that was a lot of fun. Hit 226 as a senior in baseball, so Bo, I'm 2070, maybe the class that I'll go in with that. Look forward to that invitation. But these are my best friends. I want to talk about them. Curtis Townsend and I grew up at Knoll. I stabbed him with a pencil in second grade because he said I liked Mary Morse. Didn't like that, but we're still friends. Mark Duncan, another Knollite, just did crazy stuff pretty much every day. Like, I guess the best proof, drove to Texas twice in the last 48 hours to be here. Mark, congratulations on that. Lee Smith, I got to know him in 7th grade football because when Mark was done signing autographs to the side at our Knoll games, I got to play, and Lee just jumped over the lineman and tackled us. So that was a lot of fun too. But being around these guys was special. That senior year was special in 1981, not only just for what these guys did, but the girls, the triplets. People in Springfield are sick of hearing me talking about the triplets, but you can't talk girls basketball without talking about Suzanne, Sue, and LaDonna and what they did. So just want to add one other thing, Bo. Just an amazing job you're doing with McDonald County stuff now. It's easy to follow up there with the social media and everything. The facilities are phenomenal. So hats off to everybody down here and the residents for backing that and making McDonald County a special place. The 1981 team, coached by Jack Shaver, assisted by the late Denny Chenoweth, Rod Fields, the assistant. They only had 2 starters back that year coming in, Mark Duncan and Mike Jones, but a lot of promise. They started the season 4-6. Coach Shaver wasn't very happy at that point, but they would win 19 games in a row as their shooting heated up to match the pressure 1-3-1 zone defense that Coach Shaver and his staff ingrained in their blood. As I mentioned, they were 4-6 after a 2-point loss to Joplin Memorial on January 2nd. Then they heated up and the defense started kicking in, got on that winning streak. Actually won at Neosho 64-63 in the regular season finale. Lee Smith hit a free throw with 2 seconds left to beat Neosho and gain a share of the Big 12 conference title. Neosho was 10-1 and tied for the league lead with them, but Neosho had won 9 straight coming into the game. Then it was on to the state playoffs. The districts were called regionals back then. McDonald County won the regional, hosted at East Newton, beating Lamar in the title game. Then they beat Republic 51-48 in the sectionals at Missouri Southern. Republic had a guy named Greg Garton that was one of the best players in the state at the time. Knocked off Rogersville 55-52 in the quarterfinals at Hammond Center in Springfield. Then went to Columbia, and of course a special trip for the entire county because with the boys and the girls up there, it'd been a good time to rob any store in McDonald County at that point. Didn't play the best game against St. Francis Borgia in the semifinals, a 46-28 loss, but bounced back, and that ended the 19-game winning streak, but bounced back the next day and beat a really good Sullivan team 70-68 in the third place game to finish 24-7. Mark Duncan lost his mind in that one and scored 27 points. So just a great memory. Bo, one other thing that I wanted to touch on, or Kim brought it up, but Jimmy Stauber, that group in 1974-75, they were our heroes. We were 3rd or 4th grade. We didn't miss a game. We bugged the Staubers and the Almonds and the Fishers, whoever was going to take us along as 4th graders, and we fought over who got to beat Jimmy when we'd play in the backyard of the Brides Court. That's the influence they had on us, and I think that really, like Kim said, played a big role in why this team was so good 7 or 8 years later because of the work of those guys back then. It was truly a magical time. I cried all the way home from Webb City after the regional loss. I remember that in 4th grade. I'm not ashamed to admit it, but I think a lot of us probably did that night too. So wanted to introduce the guys from the team that are here. Sophomores Bruce Stansel. Bruce, come on up. Junior Jamie Gillian. Seniors Tim Williams. Senior Guy Bunch. Senior Curtis Townsend. Senior Ron Parsons. Senior Lee Smith. Senior Mark Duncan. And Senior Mike Jones.
Gotta get everybody, gotta miss anybody there.
These were your 1980-81 McDonald County Mustangs. Welcome to the Hall of Fame. Good to see all you guys again.
Anybody want to say anything?
Hey, this is great turnout. Thank you very much for this. And I know all of us appreciate the honor that you've given us. I did want to say something just real quick personally. When in between my 7th and 8th grade year, I had a 6-inch growth spurt. And it looked like I might be able to play some basketball, football, whatever. And my dad was from Neosho. And he, behind my back, decided we were going to move to Neosho because he said, he'll never get seen by a college at McDonald County. But I had watched the 75 team every game. And so when he put a for sale sign in our yard, I said, what's going on? What are we doing? He said, we're moving to Neosho. And I said, you're moving to Neosho. I'm going to live with the Almonds and play for Coach Shaver. And that was my goal, to play for Coach Shaver. He was one of my heroes, and it wasn't easy playing for him. I thought, I should have moved to Neosho. This is, he was hard to play for, but he was a great influence on my life, and I think he was a great influence on all of our lives. And it wasn't just basketball. It was how to be a man with integrity and honor, and how to be a Mustang. And I appreciate it, Jack. Thank you.
Well said, well said.
Guys, if you want to, I think it'd be neat. Line up in front, and we'll get Coach and the chair, and you can in front of me, and we'll get some pictures took. That'd be all right? Right up in front of the stage. I'd like to thank you guys, and Coach Shaver did say that if it was up to him, it would be so darn cool in here. He'd have the heat turned up just like the old days. I don't know if we could all take it. At this time, Ken, if you go ahead.
We're celebrating a history of excellence in local sports with the 2025 McDonald County Athletic Hall of Fame. And when it comes to excellence on the basketball court, few have ever done it quite like Mike Russell. A standout member of the McDonald County High School class of 1998, Mike's impact on the court was truly legendary. Mike finished his Mustang career as the all-time leading scorer in men's basketball history, a phenomenal record that still stands today with an astonishing 2,065 career points. His dominance earned him top honors year after year, including a second-team All-State selection in 1997 and the prestigious first-team All-State award in 1998. Russell's scoring ability and his overall impact on the game set an incredibly high standard for all future Mustangs. Congratulations to Mike Russell for being a part of the 2025 McDonald County Athletic Hall of Fame.
I'd like to ask Coach Lee Smith to come up here and say a few words about Mike.
Hi, I'm Lee Smith. I had the privilege to coach Mike for 4 years as an assistant coach. I really hadn't visited with Mike 1998 when they graduated. He went to North Ark and 2 years played and then just kind of went off on his own to work. But he called Wednesday night and asked me to do this. And, I went from talking to a kid in 1998 to a man. He's 46 years old. He's got 2 kids right now. He's in Lebanon Junction, Kentucky, works construction. And a guy with very few words. Nick Martin played with him. He just never said much. He just played. But he sure wanted to talk about his team and how excited he was to get this award. Like I said, he has 2 boys. He said, Coach, I'm a pretty humble guy, but I want to brag on him a little bit. He said, I've got a left-handed son. He's an all-star basketball player already. He said, he's better than me. And I go, what's your other one do? He said, he wrestles. And I go, do you wrestle with him? He said, I'm 230 pounds, but he said, I try to keep in shape. I'm like 8% body fat right now, and I still can't hardly take him. I think the kid's like 10 or 11. So Mike's carrying on the tradition of great athletes with his kids. In very few words, he said he just never thought this would happen. And he said, really enjoyed playing for the Mustangs, but more importantly, playing with his teammates. And he loved playing with them. I said, what made you the scorer you were? What made you think that? And he said, just shooting for hours at the end. He said, I didn't want to be like everybody else. And he wasn't. He just, again, wanted to thank his teammates. He loved it. He remembered a few games. Nick probably remembers this, the game at Webb City. They won conference with 1997. Webb City went on and won state that year. And just, again, a guy that I tried to get as much out of him as I could. What are you doing? What's going on? What you thought? And he just said he really hoped that the McDonald County community and the fans loved watching him play, or the team, as much as he loved playing for it. So I'm honored to accept this for Mike, and thank you very much.
We're celebrating a history of excellence in local sports with the 2025 McDonald County Athletic Hall of Fame. And when you're talking about setting the standard for excellence on the track, you're talking about one of the most decorated athletes in Mustang history, Jackie McDuffie. A graduate of the class of 2000, her high school career was nothing short of phenomenal. Jackie excelled in every event she ran, especially when it came to the fast-paced intensity of sprints and relays. The results? A stunning 7 state medals in track and field, and several school records, many of which stand to this day. Yet her achievements didn't just set records, they elevated the entire McDonald County High School track and field program and inspired a generation of athletes who followed in her footsteps. Congratulations, Jackie McDuffie, for being part of the 2025 McDonald County Athletic Hall of Fame.
I'd ask Coach Stanton to come up.
Okay, I got to see her last night, so it's awesome, and I also got to see April, so that's awesome. But Jackie, you're from Knoll, and Coach Kilby was your coach, right? And we got so many athletes from there. But you were a spitfire. You were amazing. We couldn't ever figure out what events to put you in because you were good at everything. When she went to college, she went as a heptathlete, and she went to Truman State University and ran for 2 years. So we were really proud of you. She was one of the first Shira Princess of Power. If you knew what I'm talking about, or if you're a parent or anybody that was a Shira Princess of Power, wave your hand. I see. Oh, right. Yes, the Stobbers, the Bradys, McDuffies, Julie, her sister, was also on the first. You were on the 96, 4x8, yeah. So if a girl qualified for state, they were a Shira Princess of Power. And boy, for years we had quite a few of them. It was great. But Jackie, all 4 years was, and all 4 years she was all state in something. I think you were all state 100, 200, high jump, hurdles, 4x8 and 4x4. Yeah, that's a lot of different things, isn't it? She would have more records out there had she chosen to do some of them as individual events. But we already had other kids that could do those individual events, like April was always all state in the hurdles. So she didn't get to try to run the hurdles till April had graduated. So she was awful fun to coach. I can't even read my writing. Oh, her senior year, she went and asked a sophomore to prom. And nobody believed that when she knocked on the door and he came out, he was so shy and so sweet. And then he went back into the room and everyone was like, what's Jackie McDuffie want? And, well, she has to be prom. They didn't believe him. Nobody believed him at all because she was just Jackie McDuffie. And what is she doing asking you, Obie Scroggins, to prom? So, it's okay. The last thing I want to say is an award that Coach Stansel, the other Coach Stansel, the better Coach Stansel, gave her. I don't remember which year it was, her junior or senior year, but she did think she competed better if she vomited before she competed. And if you've ever ran, you know that is true, probably, for a lot of people. But she was so proud because she finished a really hard workout for me and she vomited on her shoes, her brand new spikes. And Bruce actually left the throwing area, came over, or wherever he was, came over, looked at the vomit, predicted what she had for lunch, and so she got the award for best vomit of the year because she vomited on her new shoes, and Bruce could tell what she'd eaten for lunch. So, Jackie, I'm so proud of you, as I have many, many kids in this room. You too, Miss Stauber. I'm proud to tell you congratulations on being entered into McDonald County High School's Hall of Fame. Well deserved, girl. And I was like, I was just frightened of him, so I think I was like, maybe a few words that I ever uttered to him in my life. Because I was for sure not going to get spanked by him. And because I was also the only child in my family that got spanked, so I knew I had it in me to make that happen, but no, I never ever got in trouble except for one time in high school. One of my best friends convinced me to skip class with her at the end of the day, and she's like, "No one's gonna know." You knew. The next day, I got pulled into the office. I didn't get spanked, but he was very disappointed, and I was also disappointed in myself. But if how many teachers do I have that I attended or I had coaches here? 1, 2, 3. If you knew me in elementary, I actually hated school. I did not excel at school. It wasn't anything that I liked, enjoyed. I actually would go home and cry and do homework because I could not figure out how to learn from the textbook. I was frightened and panicked every day in school reading out loud. So by the time I got into junior high, my self-confidence was very, very low as a child. And sports changed my life. All of my coaches changed my life. So I really thank you so much for that. Without that, I would have probably, without sports, I would have never gone to college. I definitely had skimmed by in high school and just started working. So sports were very instrumental in my life. All of my teachers and coaches were extremely instrumental in my life. I'm even talking to April about Coach Dana and how precise, clear, calculated he was and expected the same of us as students and student athletes. So I learned so much from him, and even to this day, when I'm walking and I step on lines, I make sure I am on the line. Because if you are not on the line, everyone is running. And I don't do anything half-assed. So April and I raced every line together, even if we're not calling each other in basketball. April and I raced every practice together, and it did not matter. When I went to college, it was a little surprising to me that that is not typically what people do in practices. And I didn't make a whole lot of friends on the track team because I was always racing and competitive, and I thought that's what you were supposed to do every day, because that's what April and I did every day. We raced each other on the basketball court. When I was playing defense, I was getting scratched up by your fingernails every day. So you also mean so much to me, April, and you are such a part of all of my awards, all of my accomplishments, and I really appreciate that. So thank you so much. Being from Lowell, I knew Darby Stansel first was a teacher, and I loved being in her class. She was one of my most favorite teachers, my most favorite people at Lowell as well too. And when she left to go to the high school, I was pretty bummed until I was like, oh, yeah, I'm going to high school too, and she's going to be my coach. So I don't have enough gratitude in me to express how much you mean to me. And just thank you so much. Thank you so much for never giving up. And I mean that in an academic sense.
And Kenny, if you would go to our last presenter.
We're celebrating a history of excellence in local sports with the 2025 McDonald County Athletic Hall of Fame. And this year, we honor a true cornerstone of excellence on the basketball court, Jimmy Stott. As the point guard for McDonald County's incredible 25-1 team in the 1974-75 season, Jimmy was the heartbeat of the squad. He was a selfless leader, known for his court vision and his uncanny ability to elevate every teammate around him. Jimmy's impact was permanently in the record books. He finished his career as the all-time assist leader at MCHS, and that record still stands today, 50 years later. A powerful symbol of his dedication to setting up others. A true foundation of Mustang basketball excellence. Congratulations, Jimmy Stott, for being a part of the 2025 McDonald County Athletic Hall of Fame.
I'd like to ask Robert to come up here.
Thank you, Kim. And kind of feels like a family gathering tonight, doesn't it? To be a Mustang and hear all these great stories. And 50 years is a long time. 1975. To be able to come and experienced and watched all these young athletes and these coaches, you know, Mr. Kilby, Kim, you know, working with the kids at the elementaries and stuff. It just, congratulations to all of you and Mike and Darby, the boys team. They were fun to watch. And Ronnie Cooper, that's a very special thing. And special thanks to the Martin family for the way they supported the Coopers in McDonald County High School. My brother, you know, he's always been a good basketball player. And he was always a lot better than me. And but I did play for Coach Shaver, and that was a great time. And Coach Shaver, he is tough. These guys are telling the truth. He's a tough guy to play for. Daryl Gordon was our coach that year too. Great coaches, smart, taught us a lot of skills, but also taught us how to think and strategize and how to understand when your opponent was a little shook and how to take advantage of that. And I think that's what my brother really did. I mean, over these 50 years, there's been all kinds of great point guards at this school. Jamie, comes to mind right away. But Jimmy has a little special. He had a little special ability to know what to do with when. And he knew how to get the most out of his teammates. Sometimes he would have to get on them a little bit, but they knew that he was there to help. And it was just a magical season. We were 25-0 before we were 25-1. That was a disappointment, but it was a great magical year. You could kind of see that that team was going to be something special the year before, in 73-74 year, when we came into the Neosho Holiday Tournament as the 4th seed and proceeded to wind up in the semifinals against the number 1 seed, Webb City, who had some really talented players. And we won that game. And then Neosho was the 2nd seed, but they got beat in their semifinal against Lamar. So the finals that night were Lamar and McDonald County, the 3rd and 4th seeds, for first place. Well, our boys took it to them, and we won. We won that tournament. We started out the 74-75 season with the Carthage Invitational Tournament in December of 74. And Springfield Hillcrest had a pretty good team, and they knew it. I remember they come into the gymnasium kind of cocky, you know, sure weren't worried about McDonald County. I don't even remember what we were seated. We were seated probably pretty high, but anyway, our game against Hillcrest, we wound up playing against them, and the first, I think, I can't remember exactly the tip, who got the tip, but anyway, the game was 0-0, and their guard was trying to bring the ball up the court, and Jimmy stole the ball 3 times in a row and scored layups. And it was 6-0, just getting started in that game. And Hillcrest was kind of going back to that, and they were caught off guard. And our boys, we had Wayne Fisher, Kirk Allman, Richard Anderson, Charles Harvey were the starters. And they just knew how to, they could smell blood. and they played hard, they played smart. The coach taught us how to do that. And they were successful. So that started off the year with a winning that tournament. Then we had a game against Webb City on a Tuesday night in December. We beat them, and then, to me, one of the biggest games of that year was the Joplin Memorial game on December 13th. It's a Friday night, right here in this. Both sides of the bleachers were pulled out. They said the capacity was 3,000, and that thing was this place was full, standing room only, and it was just a lot of. Memorial was a really good team. We were undefeated already. We were kind of surprising people, and a lot of interest in that game. We ran a really tough press, and we started off that game. It was 8-0, our favor, right off the bat. Kind of caught Memorial flat-footed, but they were a really good team. They came back. We were actually behind 25-23 at the end of the first quarter. But then we kind of turned it on and took a lead at halftime of 49-36, 13-point lead. Looking pretty good. Home court, home field, fans all screaming for us. Charlie Harvey, our big center, had 20 points. And they had a really good player, a guy named Nody Pate, that went on to play some D1 ball. He was the center, and Charlie really did good against him. But at halftime, with that, they came back, and they decided they were going to stop Charles. And they did in the second half. They pretty well shut him down. And they slowly crept back from that. We lost that 13-point lead. Came down to, we had the ball out of bounds, 38 seconds left in the game. We're behind 72-71. We throw the ball in right about here somewhere, and my brother dribbling the ball down the court. They're guarding him kind of one-on-one, and he dribbles that top of that key over there on the right side a little bit, and with 6 seconds left, pulls up and shoots a jumper that just bangs right through. We're up 1 point ahead, 6 seconds left. So we stopped them from getting down the court. We won the game, and the place was just nuts. That was my favorite game of that year. One other big game I want to talk about a little bit in that season was the Miami Invitational Tournament. That was in January of 75. And again, I don't remember where we were seated right offhand, but we wound up in the semifinals against a really good team from Tulsa Webster. They had some big kids, and they were pretty good. We were behind 13-12 in the first quarter. At the half, it was they were up 29-25, and I don't think we ever led in the first half. And it's a tough game, and we're undefeated. We're all thinking, man, we got to pull this together. And we came out in the third quarter just flat as a pancake, and they couldn't miss. Everything they threw up went in. I don't think they missed a shot that whole quarter. At the end of the third quarter, it was 55-33 Tulsa Webster. and we were flat. 20 points down. And a lot of people were thinking, well, it's been a great run, but you can't win them all. Well, Jimmy, Wayne, Richard, Charles, Kirk, they didn't want to lose that game. We started pressing, we started playing. Webster, I think, was thinking they had it. And long story short, we outscored them 27-4 to win that game by 1 point. And that NEO stadium, gymnasium was full of people too. Couldn't get in to see the end of that. People that left couldn't get back in because the doors were blocked. Everybody crowding around trying to watch what was happening. And that was just the semifinals. We came back the next night against a really tough Tulsa-Pahuska team to win the tournament. So, McDonald County High School goes over to Miami, plays two tough Tulsa teams, and walks away with the championship. It was a magical, magical year. Well, then we kept playing, kept winning, got to the semifinal or the districts, and we came up short against that same Memorial team we'd beaten here on this court, and that was tough. That was a tough loss, but I'm so proud of the way they played and the way that team played together, played hard, and my brother, he was the leader of that. You saw the way he played. He played like that every game. That's just the way he played basketball. And if you got open, you were going to get the ball in your hands. And it might be a no-look pass. It might be a behind-the-back dump-off. One of my favorite things he would do would, on a fast break or something, if somebody's on up far of the court, he would just kind of do a no-look shovel bounce across the court through 2 or 3 defenders to somebody making a layup. So the assist leader, still the assist leader. I didn't know that until this was coming up, but that's amazing because you don't get an assist unless somebody else scores. So that's a lot of points that not only did he make, but he contributed to for that magical team. And I'm so proud to be able to help him become a member of the McDonald County Hall of Fame, Athletic Hall of Fame.
Well, I want to thank everybody for being here and thank my brother, who is the best man I know. And I know a lot of good men, but Robert's the best one I know. And I want to add, in the Oklahoma game, Wayne Fisher fouled out. J.R. Penn came in and put a lot of the defense and stealing the ball, and he was active. It was important. But I got 2 stories I want to tell, and I'll try and mix them into one. Oh yeah, Jackie, you got good taste because I'm really good friends with Obie's mother. Anyway, I want to take you back to 1975. The gyms were packed. Before the game started, before the game started, the cheerleaders would be two here and two over there and such and such. And then we had the prettiest cheerleaders too. Anyway, they would get up and say, stand up, American, Mustang pride, stand up. And the whole crowd stood up, even the visitors stood up. But anyway, the basketball grade, it all came when Coach Jack Schaefer was hired in 1971. And then came Jerry Davis, the late Darrell Gordon, and the late Denny Chenoweth. They were all great coaches, and I'm so lucky to be part of it. Because Coach, after practice, he'd stick around and play and just foul the hell out of you while he was trying to get the ball back. But, well, anyway, back to the game. Like I said, the cheerleaders would stand up like that, and then the stage band was always right there, and they played loud. They played, got excited, got everybody excited. The whole gym was busting. My good friend, the late David Cunningham, was a member of that stage band. I miss him a lot. But anyway, then we'd start the game, and it was the last home game. We were playing Aurora. Aurora had this real hot shot named Tony Armstrong. Averaged 24 points a game, and he was about my size. And for some reason, Coach called Diamond 100 back to a man-to-man instead of 1-3-1. So it was my job to guard Tony Armstrong, which I spent most of the night watching the back of his jersey while he go score. But he was good. But when we had the best fans, the biggest crowds, and a lot of fun. We had a lot of fun. And Coach Shaver, I'll love him forever. But anyway, this Tony Armstrong character, he just kept going past me while I was trying to press him. And like I said, I'd see the back of his jersey, and then he'd shoot a shot and score 2 points. Like I said, he averaged 24 points a game. But I am real proud tonight to say that I held Tony Armstrong to 4 points above his average. Thank you so much.
That's great.
Yeah.
What a great night. Robert said it best, feels like a family reunion in here. It's been great hearing all the stories. It's honestly what makes the future go. I feel energized every time we have one of these. And I hope that now they won't forget, but people never forget the things that these people in this room have done. I know I won't. It drives me every day. I walk in this gym every day and I look at those names. I look at the people on those plaques out front. It's a driving factor to what we're trying to do here. So I can promise you that. But congratulations to all of our inductees. It's amazing. The things you guys have accomplished won't be forgotten, and now it's cemented in history. So I hope that you guys can take a little pride in that, and I hope you come back. And that's all I got. So thank you guys for coming, and have a great night.
Again, we want to thank everybody for tuning in tonight. This was the 2025 McDonald County Athletic Hall of Fame Induction Banquet. Congratulations to all of our recipients: Ronnie Cooper, contributor; Darby Stansel, coach; the 1981 men's basketball team; Mike Russell, athlete; Jackie McDuffie, athlete; and Jimmy Stauber, athlete. Again, thank you for tuning in, and have a good evening. This is Eric Gann signing off from McDonald County.